What's up, family? It's the manhood mentor, Jabar Lance Brown, the 6-foot giant reporting for duty. Yes, sir. Huh? Hello. Hello. And today, we back on another episode of the show, right? We got another episode of the show for you guys. And what we're going to be talking about is how do men get what we want, right? And I ain't just talking about on a base level like with you interacting with women. I know that's the first thing that people gonna think of and think about when we decide to talk about how do men get what we want. But ultimately what I'm speaking of is how do men get what we want in life in general, right? As a whole, in most cases, in more situations than not. Like how do you turn those situations and those circumstances in your favor to get what you want? Right? Including with women, right? We ain't gonna just make it about getting what you want from women. We talking about getting what you want in life in general. See, I get what I want all the time. Yeah, all the time. You know, and I don't waver from what my goal is and from what my standard is because I face rejection. It don't work like that. And this is what I want to help you guys to understand as well. You see, when I go in the bank, I get what I want. When I go in the grocery store, I get what I want. When I go in the clothing store, right? The car dealership, right? The restaurant, right? Like it's a system to getting what you want out here in the world. And as a man, you should be able to get what you want more times than not, right? And when you apply the things that I'm getting ready to teach you today in this episode, you're going to realize that it's not as difficult as you may think, right? So how do men get what we want, right? So the first thing as a man, what you got to understand and what you need to do in order to get what you want is you got to identify your target, right? So number one on the list, okay, is identify, okay, a target, okay? You got to identify your target. What is it that you actually want? What do you want? Specifically, what is it that you want? Okay? If you see a particular car that you like, all right, now it's time to identify what type or what model of that car you want. You dig? If it's a Benz, if it's a BMW, whatever kind of car it is that you like, the Bugatti, the Lamborghini, you got to determine what color you want, what model you want, how you want the seats to look, what engine type. Okay, what dealership you gonna buy from? Are you willing to travel out of town for it? Do you want to get it shipped? You gotta identify your target, right? If it's a group of women coming your way, approaching you, or you in a restaurant somewhere and you see a female that you like, she's sitting with another group of women, you gotta identify your target as a man so that you can determine what it is that you want, what you're willing to do to get what you want, right? So many people I talk to about this one step, and they can give me no feedback and no answers on it. All right, most people, they say that they want to be successful, but you want to be successful doing what? Because being successful is not a target. It's a concept. But you have to have a target specifically on how you're going to become successful so that you can start to apply those action steps on a daily basis and ultimately be successful at reaching your goal, right? So the first thing that you got to do is you got to identify your target if, as a man, you're going to get what you want. Identifying your target, in essence, helps you to identify specifically what it is that you say you want, right? If you want it, then that's the target. Whatever it is that you want specifically, that, in essence, will be your target, okay? So the second thing you got to do once you identify your target, you got to calculate your approach, right? Right? You got to calculate your approach. Okay, what does this mean? Right? Calculating your approach means you have to think of an action plan how to attain this thing that you want. Your target is the first thing. Now you got to calculate your approach to attaining that target or to achieving that goal. Right? If this is a young lady that you're interested in, when you see her, you identified your target. Now you got to calculate your approach on how you going to approach that situation and get her attention. If it's a car you want, a house you want, once you identify the target, the first thing, the second thing is to calculate your approach. Okay, if I want this house now, the approach to me getting the house is I got to get my credit right. Let me go talk to the bank to see what the criteria is for me qualifying for a loan. Let me see what the down payment is. Let me see what the closing cost is going to be, right? I'm calculating my approach, right? I'm calculating the action steps required in order for me to be successful at achieving my goal, at attaining the target that I have already identified, okay? So in order to get what you want as a man, you got to first identify your target. Secondarily, you got to calculate your approach, okay? Once you calculate your approach, now you got to take action, okay? So the third thing on our list is take action, okay? Far too many people get caught up in analysis paralysis. Far too many people get caught up in analysis paralysis, right? They analyze their approach, they calculate their approach, but they never take action. They never move forward out of the calculation phase and into the action-taking phase, meaning you actually have to go out the house and do something, meaning you actually have to go and approach this woman that you want. You actually have to go and approach the bank about acquiring a loan that you want. You actually have to go to the dealership and build a relationship with the sales rep in order for them to begin offering you different amenities and benefits in the process of purchasing this car, right? You actually have to go and do something. You got to get out of your head and get into the game, right? The game of life. This is your life. So once you identify your target first, secondly, you got to calculate your approach. Once you calculate the approach, now you got to take action in that approach and move forward with attaining your goal or acquiring your target, okay? Now, in the process of taking action, this is a key step when we get to number 4, okay? Us as men, in order for us to get what we want continuously, like I do, I get what I want more times than not. So the stuff that I'm telling you, I know that it works. Number 4 on this list, you got to use persuasion, okay? And let me break this down for you, okay? Okay? You got to use persuasion, okay? What is persuasion, right? Like the old saying say, you catch more flies with honey than you do with salt. Okay, persuasion is the honey. That's what persuasion is. Persuasion is the honey that you have to use to catch the flies, right? You have to know how to charm and disarm a person, male and female, okay? Just because this is a guy, it don't mean that you're attracted to him because you being pleasant and agreeable and favorable to the brother, right? He may have a connection or a resource that could help you acquire your target, okay? They say real recognize real, man. You got to be real out here. And you got to be real in conjunction with using persuasion, right? You have to know how to lighten your personality up and lighten your attitude up in the process of you communicating to the people and within the circumstance to acquire your target, okay? So when you identify your target and you calculate your approach, when you take an action, you got to use persuasion all at the same time. You got to smile. You understand? When you communicating with people, you got to smile, right? You got to lighten your personality up. You got to know how to use humor in order to get people to laugh, in order to get people feeling good about interacting with you. So that way, when you ask for what you need or when you ask for what you want, they'll be more agreeable to you because you showed up agreeing with them and making them feel agreeable about the encounter that you're having, that they want to give you what you want and give you what you're asking for out here, okay? So number 4 is to use persuasion. And I'm going to go into a whole nother deep lesson about how that really works, like just a whole calculation on how to be more persuasive, but that's going to be another show. So in this chain of command right here, number 4 is to use persuasion, right? And number 5 on our list is be persistent, okay? So far too many people, right, who say that they want stuff, the minute that they face with some type of opposition and or rejection, they get tight, right? All of this ego and all of this bravado is immediately brought down. And it's brought down to them being regular, which nah. We ain't regular, man. We far from it. Yeah, we far from regular, right? We beyond regular, right? We extraordinary, we awesome, right? We the best in the business. As a man, you should think highly of yourself, okay? So even though you faced with a bit of rejection or a temporary moment of uncooperation, you still gotta persist through that and continue to put yourself out there and put yourself in the best position to acquire your target, okay? Because in calculating your approach and in taking action, when using persuasion, you still have to be persistent, because sometimes the person that you may be encountering or interacting with, they just may be a jerk that day. You know, male and female, men and women can be jerks. Some people is just haters, you know? I've encountered a many a hater in my lifetime, a many, because they see you using persuasion and taking action. They see you having confidence. They just don't want to agree with you that day. They don't want to give you what you're asking for that day because it's looking like it's too easy for you. You see, because they want to do all of this same stuff, but they don't really know how. You know, if they could trade places with you, they would. But they don't have the knowledge that you have. They don't have the abilities that you have. So now that you're here and you're presenting certain things to them and you're presenting your request to them because you're sure of yourself, because you're clear-headed and clear-minded, you know what it is that you want. So you know what to ask them to do. Huh? Hello, I just said something. See, when you go into these places and you interacting with these people, a lot of these people don't know really what they want in life. So when you come in there and you know what you want, you self-assured, you self-confident, you intentional about asking for what you want and being persistent about who you need to talk to, what results you need to get, how much time it need to happen in. Some people just don't like that. You see, they view you as being, it's like you putting them down in their mind, when that's far from the case, because you don't even know these people in most cases. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just here today. Like, this is my first time seeing you. You don't have no business standing my way from achieving my goal for the day, the week, the month, the year, however long you need to be persistent in order to acquire your target, right? But some people is just haters, man. Some people really is just haters at heart, and you can't worry about that. So continue to be persistent when you're in pursuit of acquiring your target, right? So number 6 on our list is, when you're doing all of these things, right, don't forget to smile. Okay? Don't forget to smile, right? And smiling is critically important when you asking people for cooperation. Okay? When you asking people to do stuff for you, smiling in the process of asking these people to cooperate with your request is critically important, because it creates an inviting atmosphere, right? When you smiling and you saying, well, look, can you just go back there and ask the manager for me? I mean, can you just, maybe ask the manager to come out here and let me talk to him? Because I see that you don't really want to go back there and ask him for me, but if you can just get him to come out here for me, I talk to him myself. Can we do that? Right? You smiling, so you inviting them to cooperate with you, right? You making them feel better about communicating with you, and you inviting them to cooperate with you by smiling, right? It's just like laughter, right? Smiling and laughter go hand in hand. I've never seen a person laugh without smiling and it be sincere. Right? Because we didn't heard people laugh under their breath or laugh to keep from crying or nah. If the laughter is sincere, you're going to have a smile attached to that laughter, right? And we all know that laughter makes us feel good. So smiling attached to your request, attached to you inviting them to cooperate with you, is supposed to make them feel good about cooperating with you and about honoring your request, okay? So that's number 6. Don't forget to smile in the process of your other 5 steps, right? Now we on to number 7. So now even right, if you going inside a business, or if you talking to somebody on the phone, or if you talking to a woman, right? If it's a woman that you want to approach and that you want to get with, right? You got to know how to present yourself in a beneficial way. Okay? Let me explain, right? You gotta offer a benefit for them cooperating with you, for them giving you what you want, right? You gotta know how to offer a benefit. What do that mean? What's in it for the person who cooperating with you? What's in it for the person to give you what you want, right? Who are you and what can you provide to them and for them so that they'll feel better about honoring your request and giving you what you want? Okay? Even if you talking to a manager at a restaurant, okay, and you asking him for a particular thing, for a particular concession, you got to offer the benefit. So what's the benefit for him cooperating with you? Well, look, man, if you do what I ask you to do, I have a network of people that I'm going to refer business to you, right? I got a network of colleagues in the real estate space who have offices all around your restaurant. And for you honoring my request today, I'm going to refer people to your business. See, the benefit, why I'm smiling, why I'm using persuasion, and why I'm being persistent. Because the person at the front might not have wanted to help me with that, or they may not have been capable of helping me with that. Even if it's a woman, right? If you asking her for a number, you saying, well, look, man, we need to go out, we need to hang out. What's the benefit for y'all going out and for y'all hanging out? Well, check this out, man. I got 2 tickets already to the concert. You know, Jay-Z and Beyonce coming in town on the 26th. You're going to be free that day. Put that out there up front. So it gives her the benefit of cooperating with you and going out with you because she see that it's something attached to that, right? It's not like you just blowing smoke and talking like pie in the sky. Nah, you got to know how to present that thing so that you, being the person asking for the request, you have already identified your target. Part of your approach and in you taking action, this is an extension of you being persuasive. You see, offering the benefit is an extension of you being persuasive, right? You already know to be persistent because you may not get what you want initially from you asking. Most times you will, sometimes you won't. But you be persistent and continuing to smile while you offering your benefit. This is how you change the vibe. Huh? Hello, see, I'm giving you some high level, not eye level game right now. This is how you change the vibe. You know, a person may want to cooperate with you, but here they thinking like, why would I? Okay, well, before they can even think that long enough to be difficult towards you, you already put the benefit out there on the table up front as to how them cooperating with you is going to help them out. You see? Yeah, and when you do it that way, you're going to increase your chances of being successful at attaining your target, right? So now we move on to number 8, okay? Number 8 is you got to have a follow-up method, okay? Number 8, you got to have a follow-up method. What does this mean? If you go into any establishment or you talking to any woman and you don't get what you want at that time, don't worry about it because we already know the importance of being persistent and we already know that we have benefit attached to us. So now, in this particular instance, you may not have got what you want that day and at that time. You got to have a follow-up method, right? How are you going to follow up with that business? How are you going to follow up with that company or with that person who has what you want? Okay? Because this is the real world. You may just catch people on a day where your request, it cannot be honored based on circumstances beyond your control and beyond their control. So you have to already have thought about what your follow-up method is going to be. Okay? Even if you got to let her go that day, just know, okay, I see her again. And when you see her again, you have a whole nother approach within your follow-up method so that you can still offer your benefit, remain persuasive, and ultimately identify your target. Ultimately accomplish and attain your target, right? If it's a business owner and whatever your request is for that day, and they are unable to honor your request that day, you have a follow-up method, okay? You know that you're going to shoot them an email with a recap of who you are, the day that you came into the restaurant and what your request is, and now when you put it in writing and you CC other members of the staff in that, you increase your chances of getting what you want the next time you come to the restaurant. The next time you show up at that office building or at that office space for a meeting with the general manager, right? You have increased your chances of being successful because you have already identified what your follow-up method going to be in case you don't get what you want that particular day, right? Number 9, okay? Number 9, hold on. I spelled that wrong, okay? Number 9 is you gotta repeat. You gotta repeat these steps, okay? That's number 9 for us. You gotta repeat these steps. It's no time that you're gonna be able to do all of these things one time and continue to get what you want, right? It don't work like that.